I appreciate that.
And welcome to Business Focus. I am the host, the Eisen Agency President, Roger Roser, Cincinnati's most award-winning and largest public relations firm. And today I'm joined with Dennis Devlin. He is the CEO, Chief Tuna Bottle Washer for an organization called Consumer Clarity. Is that right?
That's right.
Dennis, it's great to have you with us today.
Thank you,
Why
Roger.
don't you tell us briefly just a little bit about what your organization does and some of the challenges that you're seeing in the small business environment?
Right. Consumer Clarity is a consumer marketing consultancy.
Right.
We focus on market research and branding and helping small business in both of those areas.
Sure, and Cincinnati certainly is well known for marketing and branding and so on and so forth, so you're in the right city for this.
That's right, absolutely.
Who do you typically work with, and how do they reach out and find you, for starters?
Well, from a small business standpoint, it really covers any industry.
Got it.
And they can easily
They all need branding.
That's right, they do need branding. They typically struggle with messaging. They want to tell their story, but they take the fire hose to their customer target rather than being really clear in their messaging.
And one of the things that I see, small business, large business, both are guilty of it, is they're so caught up on these messages that they think are so important that have nothing to do with the consumer or customer in any way. That's not what they even care about at all.
Absolutely. It ends up being a situation where the management of the small business, the small business owner, typically only thinks about the business from their standpoint.
Right.
You know, they live and breathe it.
Right.
Their customer target, not so much.
Sure.
So it has to be, the messaging has to be phrased in a way that is going to really resonate with the right people.
Yeah, and Dennis, I think you make such a good point. And if you do own a small business or you're running a small to medium-sized business and such and so forth, I've never really understood why some organizations try to go so many of these things alone, as opposed to bringing somebody like you in to take a fresh look at things, give them good advice, give them good counsel. I mean, yeah, they might invest a little bit of money up front, but it'll probably save a lot of time and headaches in the future.
Well, they think they can do it themselves,
right?
And that's sometimes a challenge.
The entrepreneurial mentality.
Well, there's that, but some people don't realize that someone with some marketing expertise and some experience in that regard can really be a benefit.
Oh, sure.
And it doesn't have to be expensive. And I think there's a lot of misperception about really what the costs are involved.
I think the issue is they're working with a small business or medium-sized business, and they look at companies that have marketing firms or PR agencies like mine, and they assume that you have to be Budweiser or Coca-Cola or Apple or whatever to have one of those, and that's just simply not true.
That's correct. It really isn't. You don't have to have a large marketing spend budget in order to get some support.
In fact, when you even argue the smaller the budget, the more you need some counsel and expertise. So you're making absolutely positive that any dollars you're being spent are invested as wisely as possible.
No question. No question. That's the case. And it seems easy sometimes to do our own marketing.
Right.
But we're looking at it from one particular standpoint, and it's not always the right one.
Right. Now, Business Focus is here to share with business owners and such and so forth out there, obviously to our audience. You've been successful, you've started a successful organization, but you didn't pop out of a box and poof, Consumer Clarity is making millions.
No.
What's maybe an insight that you would share with fellow small business and even large business owners, what they could be doing a little bit smarter to focus more on their business?
Right. Well, I think they first have to be humble.
Sure.
They have to recognize that they don't know it all, and that there are others out there that can help them in certain areas where they might have some gaps.
Sure.
Particularly in knowledge and experience.
Kind of like, you have a lawyer, you hire an accountant, you have possibly an outsourced HR function. Great to have a second opinion or a third opinion on some of your marketing and so forth.
That's right. And someone that might help you with branding your small business is not going to be charging what lawyers might charge.
That's a good point. Or keeping you out of trouble so you don't end up having to hire
that's
the
true
lawyers.
as
Well, I find in your business, similar to mine as well, is, when you have finite dollars to invest, what you don't want to be doing is investing in 6 cheap lawnmowers when you could have just gotten a good one right from the very beginning.
No question.
Yeah.
No question.
So, last piece of advice that you would give to fellow small business owners, obviously outsource, look towards experts. Any other thing that you'd like to share that you think they should know?
Well, I think they have to be patient with themselves. I think,
fair.
and particularly with regards
I'm
to
guilty of that, Dennis.
Maybe we're all guilty
Yeah.
to some extent, but I think in terms of recognizing that it takes time to build a business, and particularly when you're starting out,
Sure.
You have to recognize that you need to look for those resources that really can help you grow.
Right, I agree. If it's not a core competency to making shoes or baking cakes, get it out of the office and make the best darn cake you can.
That's right.
Is that
Absolutely.
fair? Dennis, how does somebody get in touch with you?
Well, they can call me at 859-372-6688, or they can email me directly at dennis.devlin@consumerclarity.com.
And you're right here in Greater Cincinnati.
I am in Greater Cincinnati.
Great, Dennis. Thank you so much for being on Business Focus. I really appreciate it. And for everybody that's watching, you have listened, you have learned. Now go focus on your business. This is Roger, over and out.